Good morning. Thank you for keeping it Citizen Television Daybreak. It is this particular Tuesday morning. We are so glad that you created time for us. A Tuesday that comes just after the conclusion of the English Premier League. Lazima ningeenda hapo. And that thing actually, it depends na vile wa una-interpret. It has got us thinking. We were thinking about it the other day and we were just like, sahi vile English Premier League imeisha. Na wale walikuwa wameenda huko ndani wakazama ni kama that is now the new normal. Watafanya nini sasa that chapter is closed? And it has got us thinking. The topic is wide. There are people who have hobbies that they are so passionate about. But what happens when that passion is actually coming between you and your partner, or it's claiming your identity and you do not know yourself outside that hobby or that thing, that activity that you so love very much? I'm not going to be talking in studio alone. I have a panel of two, a lady and a gentleman, and of course Roberta will be joining us a bit later. But in studio this morning already tuko na CJ Atemo with us. It's good to have you, CJ. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you as well.
Good to see you. English Premier League imeisha. Wanaume sasa mtatuambia nini? Mtatuambia nini? Na mwingine ndio huyu actually. Cutie.
Tuko na shida.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yani mlifikiria itaendelea iendelee.
But we are happy because Arsenal did not win the league. That's the best news ever. Wanajua, so tuko happy. As long as si Arsenal wali win league, tusaize tungekuwa tunapumua hata tungekuwa hapa. Streets zingekuwa zimejaa. So tuko happy. Euros zinakuja in a month. So hii month ndio tuna have to figure out what are we going to do with our lives. Tutafanya nini?
So next month
Euros zinakam.
So mtakuwa mmerudi.
But a month is a long time.
You see why we need to talk.
Yeah, a month is a long time.
You see why we need to talk about some of these hobbies, by the way. Regardless of the result, actually, tumekuwa tukifikiria, what if that hobby is taking a toll on your relationship? Kuna matches huenda hadi late night, mara weekend, Sunday mnafaa kwenda church, mtu sijui ameenda sijui wapi. You know, you're supposed to be sleeping. Somebody is waiting for a match that will start East African time, 12 a.m. Seriously, we need to talk. We need to talk. But we all agree it's important to have hobbies, right, CJ?
Yes, it is.
It is important to have something that makes you happy.
It is, because you've got to be wholesome. Spirit, soul, body, you've got to be wholesome. For you to be in a healthy relationship, you've got to be healthy, first of all. Because if you're dysfunctional, or if you're not well, emotionally or mentally, then you bring that into the relationship. So whatever you're going through, or the toxicity that you face, or the stress levels that you have will show up in the relationship. So it's important for people to find things that they can ventilate through, whether it is sports, or it is travels, biking, whatever it is, just hanging out with friends, whatever it is that is going to bring balance to this person so that they're not overly exerted on one thing that is good and important. Yeah.
What's your hobby?
I've got several. I've got several because I generally have done sports from youth and then and drama, but I love reading. I love doing drives. I watch football.
I hope I'm not putting you on the spot.
No, not really.
You love football. You're not obsessed. You love football.
I used to be. Then I had to control.
Yes.
Then I had to control that. So I love football. I love football. And I think I'm one of the first Liverpool fans in this country.
I know. The few Liverpool fans.
Yes. Followed that from the 80s. So I love football, you know. Yeah, I do.
All right. Cutie. Do you love cooking? Is cooking your hobby? I'm not talking.
Not me. Not me. I love traveling. I love gymming. I also love
that one.
I also love just watching games. I mean, football is life. If you're not watching football, Safin, what are you doing with your life?
Why do you?
Safin, you're missing out. Like, kama watch ball. Nini unafanya na maisha yako sister?
Tuko na the whole day nikupe list ya what I do.
Lakini ukianza kuwatch futa, I think ita change life yako. I started watching football because of influence of my two brothers. You know me, I'm born between boys, and my dad. Sasa ukikuwa kwa hiyo environment utakosaje kuwatch? So World Cup tulikuwa tuna watch home, like my dad used to put World Cup. So tulianza kuwatch World Cup kitambo. So hapo ndio love of football ilianza ku grow. So my dad supports Chelsea, my brothers Arsenal. Automatically nika pick to Manchester United. It started as a banter, as a joke at home, but then it grew on me. Right now I cannot stay without football. Yani hizo games unasema tuna watch 12 a.m. time ya Euros, time ya World Cup, we watch those late nights. Na zina affect life yetu, because if I watch a late night match, it affects Monday because I have to wake up early to go the gym at 4. So bado inani affect, nasikia usingizi.
Imagine.
Inani affect vibaya sana. So I'll have to admit some hobbies are addictive and you have to get a control of it.
All right.
Yeah.
That's why we are talking this morning, because hiyo story ya English Premier League hata ilitukumbusha during COVID. When, you know, suddenly people had to spend time kwa nyumba, like the whole family, kulikuwa na lockdown. Watu wakaambiwa sasa stay at home. It's one of the safety precautions I could take during COVID. And that is when people began to realize, who am I outside of what I do out there? Who am I outside of what I love or what I spend my whole day on? Who am I, like, in this space? People realize they don't even have a relationship with their partners, their children. They don't even know how to spend the whole day in their house and feel happy. Like unakaaje kwa nyumba the whole day na unasikia kama uko sawa. People began to realize there is something that is amiss. And my question would be this morning to you, CJ, can hobbies affect the energy, the vibe in the relationship? Because you started by saying how they help us become complete, how they help us, you know, get rid of stress, you know. But can they affect the energy and the vibe between a couple?
Anything that is not done with moderation has the capacity to again change the balance of things. So it can easily, something that was intended to be a good thing can easily become a challenge to people. So if I am addicted, for example, to the weekend football, so I spend most of my time out, because many people would not want to watch the football matches from home.
It's not fun.
Doesn't even matter what size of television they've bought. Yeah. They'll still want to go and hang out with friends. There's just something, the energy about being together with different people, and, you know, so they'll still want to go out, which means if you're used to being away every weekend, then now suddenly you have to be around. One of the things that happens is that you're going to upset the equilibrium in the house. It's like introducing a new species into an existing ecosystem.
Imagine.
Because now people have got to get used to you, your wants, your likes, your dislikes, your preferences. So you may come in there and you're like, you guys are making noise, but this is how they're used to doing life. So you are the stranger who has come into their noisy environment. Now you want them to tone down. Or you'll be feeling like this house is too quiet. We need some noise, but they're okay because there's a way they've been doing their things without you. Now you're coming in with your demands. And sometimes that creates conflicts. You start noticing, if you're a father probably, you start noticing if you're strict, that these children are given too much leeway. Now you want to bring in discipline. So you've come from nowhere and suddenly you want to instill discipline. So the kids begin to wonder, who are you? Where are you coming from? I mean, we've been living our lives here without you. We've been fine. Why are you bothered by how things flow? Even just things about, you know, the remote, on what to be watched, because you find people have already developed programs
that they love.
Yeah. Then you come in and you want to flip into National Geographic and stuff.
and
like,
news and 24 hours.
We have it. So the little conflicts, it begins with that. It begins with very, very little conflicts, because you will notice things that these guys feel is very normal. And then they also begin to feel like you're either picky or you're becoming very petty. So that can raise a lot of friction. Sometimes the flip side is that you can come in and let everybody do whatever they want to do, but then now they expect you to do some things. Now that you're home, can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? And you'll be thinking, but you've been living your lives without me.
Yeah.
So why do you want to put on me these responsibilities? So the whole thing is that there'll always be something upsetting the ecosystem. Yeah.
And when we're talking about hobbies, we are not limited to just hobbies. It could be even your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when CJ was talking, I just remembered, you know, people who maybe they've spent their entire life in work and then now they are retired or they are on leave and they suddenly realize that they do not have a life outside the office. So they are here at home, they've retired, they've not bonded, spent their time to bond with the children. They feel lost, they feel like they don't belong. And some people actually begin to develop some ailments wakishaenda retires compared to wakiwa kazi. Kuna watu kazi ni wao. Mimi na kazi yangu, we are in the same WhatsApp group. And now I wish your relationship was your hobby. Anyway. That's a topic for another day. Cutie, in the context of a relationship, how do you describe obsession and a love for hobbies or career or that activity that you love?
You know, Stefan,
The difference between now obsession and just loving something, you know, in the context of a relationship. How do you tell that now inakuwa obsession?
Hizi vitu zinakuwa addictive sana, Safin. You know, gymming is very addictive. Very, very addictive. Unajipata, you want to go to the gym from Monday to Sunday, but in real sense, you're supposed to be resting your muscles. But it's like an addictive pain. You just want to go there. And because you're seeing the results, unataka kushinda hapo. Football is also an addiction. Watching the game is an addiction because I won't know who scored. I won't know who did what where. And that also plays a big role in my career because on my show, I also have to talk about sports. So it's also part of my job. It's also part of my hobby. So at what point do you separate that obsession? You see, but this is what I believe in. As long as it's not a negative addiction, like maybe gambling, I'd say, as long as it's not playing a negative impact in your life and it's not affecting your relationship with your partner, because that's where you have to draw the line. I like what CJ said. He says he used to love watching football so much, but Elif Kamali, he had to, like, you know, step back a bit because maybe it was affecting something in his life. So it's up to you to weigh the options and say, this is really affecting my life. Because for me, I'm just like, okay, I'll manage. I'll take coffee in the morning. So let me just watch the game until 1. Because sometimes the game has like maybe 30 minutes more. So you have to watch the extra time. We go to penalties.
Sasa E1 yenye unawatch hii game. I wish hii show ingekuwa 10 AM. Lakini E1
uko hapo
unawatch hii game. Assuming you're in a relationship. Are you watching this game with your partner at that time or what is happening?
No, if my partner does not like to watch football, I cannot force him to watch the game. If my partner does not like going to the club to watch the game, because as CJ said, there's something about watching football with other fans.
So at 1 AM, you're in a club somewhere?
At 1 AM, I'm in a club somewhere watching the game because it's very important. Kama Saturday, umesikia tukiongea hapa na Sam tukisema kuna FA Cup inakuja. Hiyo ni Manchester United na Man City.
Yeah.
Whatever time game inaanza, I have to be there to watch the game. But if I have my partner there and he's uncomfortable, aniambie, hey babe, hii mambo ya kuingia kwa club 1, kuingia kwa how 2, 3, I have to reevaluate my life because at the end of the day, I keep asking this, why are you getting into a relationship if you're not ready? Why are you getting there? If you're not ready to sacrifice this life and change your life for this person, then I think there's a problem. Safin May told you, sometimes I just wake up and decide, okay, I'm going to Coast or I'm going wherever. I don't have to ask anyone. But if I have a partner in my life, I need to be able to respect them enough to ask them, not necessarily borrow permission, but discuss with them and say, by the way, next month, we have this thing that we're going out with the girls, or I want to watch the game. This game is important. Maybe finals. I can reduce the matches to finals. I can say, okay, well, let's do finals in the club, you know. Not every other game. Because you see, as we watch every other game there, tuko hapo,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Tuko hapo too, because all games are good, you know. But there are those big games, you know, like Manchester United and Arsenal. That's a very big game. Man City versus Man, you know, like kuna zile games zenye si tunajua, they are so big.
It's a must watch.
It's a must.
And your partner is supposed
and
to
your partner is also supposed to understand.
Game.
So what you can do, you can reduce that and say, okay, you know what? Na matches zinakuanga hapo. Like the dates are already out there. You can say, next month there is this big match. Can you allow me to just go and watch it? I think it's something that you need to discuss with your partner, whatever the case, whether it's work, because some people are addicted to work. You take my work away from me, maybe I will not be able to define myself. There are people who are like that, Safin. So you as Safin, if I strip that title from you, if you're a CEO, if you're a presenter, if whatever job that you're doing, if I take that away from you, will you be able to survive surfing? Like, who are you with that? Because there's some people, tuna coexist. We're in a relationship, you go to work in the morning, the kids go to school, I go to work, tunafika jioni, and we are good to go. But take all that away. Ile time ya COVID, when kids were at home, guys were going crazy. Guys were like, this cannot be happening. Kids need to go back to school. But you see, at the end of the day, that's your kid, and you love them. It's not that you don't love your children, but you're going to go crazy because you're not used to staying in the house with your partner, and you'll realize most people came to know each other during that time.
Yeah.
Like, kumbe unakuanga hivi, by the way, kumbe unapenda kufanya hivi. You know, things came out at that particular point. But I think hobbies are important, as long as it's not, for me, as long as it's not a negative energy or it's not affecting our relationship. Nimepeana example ya gambling. As long as finances hazikui affected, and I'm okay with if my hubby loves to go out and watch football, na si tuko sawa, sisi kwa nyumba, actually maybe hiyo ndio tunataka, peace of mind, seme, okay, we enda watch game, utakuja 2 AM. Kila mtu space yake, watu wa watch, si tu watch mambo zetu hapo, to watch, you know, and all that. So it really depends, to watch beki kidogo, tuingie kwa soap kidogo, you know, at the end of the day, because as CJ said, kitambo ilikuanga, our dads never used to be in the house. Now akikuja, atachukua remote, I can use. So we adjusted to that. Like, we know when dad comes, it's the news. We have to watch the news, we have to watch the World Cup, and we adjusted and we adapted. So I think it's just about you and your partner talking about these hobbies and just being honest with each other. Like, this is really affecting me. Yeah. You need to tell your partner, your hobby is affecting me. Hii travel sana, hii kazi yako, you're coming in at 1 AM, at 12 AM, because of this work, you're going to work at 4 AM, it's really affecting our relationship. You're not spending time with our kids. You're not spending time with me. So I think it's just being open with each other as partners and talking about it.
And that would work if both of you are noticing that there is something that is wrong and both of you are willing to change. Yeah. But CJ, what happens when that person is not noticing that the hobby or the career or that activity that they love is coming in between, you know, them and their partner? How do you begin to what are the telltale signs that this thing is now beginning to eat up, you know, our relationship? How do you begin to notice that as a couple you are moving into that red zone by encouraging that hobby or that activity?
You know, first of all, it's difficult to call out that because generally it doesn't look like it's an affair. It doesn't look like it is something that is evil. I mean, why should you be upset with somebody loving football?
Innocent football. I mean, innocent, not cheating. I'm just watching football.
One of the sports that is quite addictive, and we probably don't talk about it much, is golf. Golf is very addictive. Yeah. You find people who play golf, I mean, they'll be staying on the golf course like the whole day. Then you're not on phone, you're not able to interact, and it's very competitive, and then people will talk about the networks that they get around there. So it really looks like it's very positive. The kind of people that they will meet on the golf course, the kind of networks that they will get, the kind of business that comes from there. But then this can pull this person away from you nearly daily for hours and hours and hours and hours. So if the person then does not recognize it, but the partner does, I think the thing is to bring in the appreciation of the levels of balance. Just like Kitty was talking about it, that this thing is affecting me because I can't reach you during the day. Do you realize that when you're not playing golf or when you're not watching football and you are home, do you realize you're not even yourself? Because you have to, first of all, bring the effect to the person before how it affects you. Because some of this...
So how talk to them about how it affects them
first. Yes. Some people go into withdrawal. Like, if they're not going to watch football like this weekend, they'll be just crazy. You know, you'll see them kick the cat, you know, they fight the dog. They're just picking fights everywhere. They're looking for stuff to do, turn the house upside down and stuff. So you can actually tell this person is not okay. And you must show them the effects that that thing has on them, first of all. How much money do they spend? The lack of sleep that Kitty is talking about, the inability to make certain decisions, the inability to show up for certain important things because there's either a match, there's a game you're going to play, there's a trip you need to go on to. Your inability to say no to all of those things. The moment that thing begins to control this person, to the point that they will do anything to get there. They'll either borrow money to go on that trip. They will borrow money to show up at the club so that they can hang out with the friends. They will show up for the golf even when they're not well. Sometimes they're not well. Sometimes they're competing interests like there's an important activity around the family. It may be a school day, it may be an anniversary, it may be a visit from the family, but this person can't let go
anniversary
of the other.
Wenye Mani wanacheza na Arsenal. Aje.
And you just see somebody give you the money and say, just take the kids out. It's a kid's birthday, and they just like, take the kids out because they have to go to this other side. It has become an obsession.
Yeah.
It is important then to begin to have the conversation with them. And first of all, bring out the impact of that thing on them, not even necessarily you, on them. They need to see, it has to be a mirror moment that this thing is going to drive you crazy. So whether I am here or not, this thing that you're doing, you've taken a trajectory that is going to drive you crazy at some point. You're going to lose your life, not necessarily literally, but you're going to lose everything else. Your relationships, you're going to lose your balance, you're going to lose your money, you're going to lose your sleep, you're going to lose your peace. See how people get affected even after the results of matches. You know, you're looking at your partner, you're seeing this person is not eating for 3 days because they lost the title.
3 days. Mtu amejifungia kwa bedroom kwa sababu team ili lose.
I mean, somebody doesn't show up for important meetings because they are depressed that their team did not win. So you're looking at that and you begin to see this thing is having such a negative impact on the person, even before you talk about the relationship. Because sometimes when you bring up the relationship matters to it, it looks like you're just vouching for your own interests. But I think that the approach that should be taken is to point out to the person how those obsessions are affecting them negatively.
Yeah, true. And, you know, sometimes, you know, when we are doing something that we really love, something that we are really, we get satisfaction in doing, we allow nobody to come between us and that thing that we are doing. Cutie, I don't know what your proposal would be, you know, when people are meeting and they're having conversations, zile za kuanzisha relationship. Do you think hobbies are a part and parcel of that thing, that the list of agendas that you're supposed to put on the table? Because clearly, if going by all that we are discussing this morning, clearly hobbies have a very big stake in a relationship. So should we talk about those hobbies, and especially the ones that we have so deep passion for? Should we discuss them and lay it out there when we're starting this relationship?
It's important to do so, because if you're dating QT, you need to know what kind of lifestyle she lives. I mean, I post football on all my social media pages. So if you've done your homework well, you'll probably know huyu na mambo ya ball lazima nimuulize. And most of the time you'll even find maybe this guy, we met in that space. He also watches football. We met in that space. But now, just because we are dating, he might want to be like a little bit overprotective, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. So we might meet in that he's an Arsenal fan, I'm a Manchester fan, but he's like, babe, you need to tone it down a bit. You know, you just need to stay in the house, stay with the kids and all that. You know, if you approach someone in a loving way, I believe, and as we keep saying, you need to be a leader and don't be a boss. You know, if you start telling me, where's the end?
Somebody nicely ask you to
nicely. Safin, Mimi, when you're nice to me, I'm nice to you.
Tone down story.
If you're good to me, I'm good to you. Nita tone down, muse manga. Iyo time ikifika, you see, I cannot be like this forever, Safin.
Yeah.
Inafikanga mahali, some things change in your life. Probably things I used to do 5 years ago, sizes zimepungua, zimetone down a little bit, and not because someone asked me, because even for me, you see, as you move forward with your age and all that, there are some things you just tone down bila tu kuambiwa na mtu, because I wasn't gymming 5 years ago, you see, and right now it's crazy.
Yeah.
So there are just some things that change with time and change with life. So this is why I keep on saying, if I'm getting into a relationship, my guy needs to know, not just even about me going to watch football, even about my work. Like sometimes we go for road shows. These road shows are going to affect my relationship in a very big way, because if you're going for road shows for 5 days, I'm going to be away for 5 days. And easy road shows zinakuanga crazy. So this person needs to know the kind of work. Unamkanga tu hivi client amesema nataka QT by the kwa hii road show. Umeenda 5 days. You're away for 5 days. And it's work. It's not at least you umeenda sherehe or what. But you see road show, they're also fun. As much as you're working, they're also fun. Mkimaliza job, there are those after parties and all that. So you need to really discuss discuss with your partner your job. The type of job that you're doing, they need to know if you work late, if you travel a lot. There are people, Safin, that travel all the time. Unapata per month, this person has traveled in 5 countries. What are you going to do about that when you get into that relationship? So when you're becoming the wife or the husband, if your wife travels a lot, you need to be there. You need to know that I'm going to be there with the kids. Mtoya anaweza kuwa 6 months and I need to travel. What happens at that particular point? Are you going to stay with the kids? Are you going to make sure that they go to school? Are you okay with me going outside the country to work? And especially it affects the woman because the man inakwanga like it's okay. CJ anaweza travel and afanye mambo zake. But if I'm the woman, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm breastfeeding, mi ndo ufanya kila kitu, the house runs through me. So are you okay with me traveling? Hata tukitoa tu mambo ya football. Mambo ya football naweza sema okay fine. Weka screen hapo, lipa decoder tuochie game kwa house sawa. Lakini ikifika mambo na job. Haitakuwa the same, but naweza decide ku sacrifice niseme okay kama inakuwa affect ni sawa basi niliamua ku get into this relationship and it's really affecting us, I'm going to tone it down a bit. But what about the work part? If I'm bringing these are finances, Safin. Finances pia zina affect relationship. If I'm bringing in money into this relationship, we're doing 50-50. So ukianza kuniambia nisiende job ama nisiende hizo nisi travel outside the country and all that. What are we going to do about the finances? What I'm sorting out in this house, then you need to take responsibility for it and say, okay, you need to be a trophy wife. Stay at home. Basi kaa nyumbani, mimi nitafanya kila kitu I'll pay. You see, there are so many things to discuss and people don't even see it in that perspective. So it's not really also about just the hobbies. Also work. For me, my work, naweza sema ni hobby napenda. Like I love my job.
Passion.
It's a passion. So if you take that away from me and tell me to stay again at home and you'll do everything, you're also taking away part of me. And I might end up being miserable or bitter for the rest of my life and say, by the way, since I started dating you, I am no longer myself. Umenifungia kwa nyumba. You know, some things, you just need to be really open and discuss these things. Know your person, do your homework, really do your homework. Jua mtu wako vizuri, anafanyanga nini? What do they do? What do they love doing? And will that affect your relationship? So really, if you're able to discuss that, good for you. And if you're not, mtapatana huko mbele na you will end up. There's a quote I was checking out and it was saying, I don't have to depend on my partner for me to be happy. I need to be happy as QT. First of all, am I really happy as QT? Without my partner, without my kids, without my family, mimi kama QT, am I really happy? If I'm happy, then my partner is just coming in as a bonus. But if I'm depending on my partner to be happy, I'm going to end up being miserable and I will end up even hating them in that relationship. So try to make yourself happy first of all as QT. And that's why CJ was saying, like, sometimes you might lose yourself in all these things. Unajilose wewe mwenyewe. Because you're trying to please your mom, you're trying to please your hubby, your kids, and you might really end up losing yourself. So wewe mwenyewe kwanza, be happy as an individual so that when your hubby comes in or your wife comes in, they're just coming in as a bonus.
QT, wewe umeongea vitu. Loads of wisdom, eh? I hope wamesikia. But then, CJ, how do you find joy in your partner's hobby when you're not in support, or they don't give you the same level of, let me use those words, the hobbies that they have or the interests that they have don't give you the same level of satisfaction. Sometimes they don't even make sense, but to them it's a big deal. How do you strike up? How do you find joy? How do you allow them? How do you support them when you're in that context? We have people who are really dealing with hiyo uchungu ya kufeel like the hobby is taking the spouse away, or it's compete na hiyo hobby ya mwenzake without, knowing what to do. How do you strike a balance?
I think the competition comes when communication has been messed up. Because generally what we do with children, for example, is we take them to amusement parks that have nothing to do with our own passions and desires. But because it means something to the child, you will take the child there. And you will be there. When you go to the school sports day and you're seeing this little kid competing, sometimes you don't even really understand what they're doing, but you'll see parents cheering them on and clapping him because you're connected to the child. So you are connected to what the child is connected to. The love for the child makes you appreciate what the child likes because you want the child to win. We don't give that grace to adults. We don't give that grace to adults where I will feel like because I'm here with you and this makes you happy, then I want you to win. I want to see you well. I want to see you whole. So if the gym is what you love to do, then I might even go with you to the gym. I may not lift weights. but I'll just hang around you as I see you do what you love to do, so that you don't feel I'm competing. And then here now we can strike the compromise as well. There's just something about people feeling that you're on the same side with them. I think the danger comes in when we try to come in between what they love and themselves. So you begin to become an opponent. Do you realize that when you want to take away something from somebody, they put on a defense mechanism?
Yeah.
So they feel that they need to fight you. But if you come to the same side that they are on, and you begin to let them know, like I said, you know, how this is affecting them, then probably how it's affecting you. And then you're looking for, how can we strike a compromise in this matter? So you like going to watch football in this place. I can't come there. I'd want to hang out with you while you're watching football. So, as Kitty said, can we tone down on the number of matches that you will go out there? Then can we find a place that we both can go in some of those matches, so that I'll be stretching myself out for you? Because you need to realize that you also will need this person to stretch out for you at some point. It may just be something as simple as you need your guy to come with you to the salon. That's not his place.
Yeah, but I don't think I would.
There are women who want that.
Yeah.
There are women who want that. They want their men to come to the salon and sit there. And this man has to sit here and, man, 4 hours. 4 hours and all kinds of stories are being told in that place.
Yeah.
But then to them, so there they feel like, oh my goodness, you see, Safin's man really is a good man.
Really?
Because he's
Salon
there.
apana.
So how then would you feel if this person then does not appreciate that this is something you love?
Yeah.
How would you feel if this person feels like, no, you can't be spending 4 hours in the salon. You can't be sitting over there. In fact, what stories are those that are in the salon? If you want somebody to do your hair, bring them to the house.
Experience is not the same. You see, the way football, doing it at home, the experience of making your hair at home is not the same.
So it's the same thing of understanding this is what this person likes. It may be something just like shopping, Safin, and you want your man to take you out shopping.
Yeah.
And then he feels like, but see, I don't want to be in the mall for 3 hours doing what? So you go, I'll drop you. Go after you've bought your stuff, call me. Then I come. But for you, part of the bonding would have been going around, seeing things, telling him,
asking,
do you see this? Do you see this? Do you see this?
Purple?
Yeah. But he doesn't like it. But he will do that because he loves you.
Yeah.
So we've got to learn that aspect, that sometimes we do things not because we like those things, but because of what the person that likes the things means to us. And it becomes a win-win. You know, like, I'll compromise. I will sacrifice this amount of time, come and spend with you, be there. Even if the whole of me wants to jump out of my skin, I will do this for you, because relationships do require sacrifice.
And by the relationships are for mature people. You know, the way kids are used to just receiving. When you get into a relationship, you have to get to that point where you're willing to give a part of you, sacrifice something for that other person to make the relationship work. Cutie, is it okay for couples to have different interests and different values and still have like a very perfect relationship at the end of the day?
Yeah, they say opposites attract. I don't know about that, but they say opposites attract, Safin. So you might find that the guy is here, the chick is here, or the chick is here and the guy is here. And I think it works, because I wouldn't want someone who is as loud as me, because I know I'm loud and I'm paid to talk, Safin. So I wouldn't want someone who is also like on the high, you know. I want someone as calm as, you know, ametulia tu. Mimi nataka mtu ametulia, mtu mature enough to be able to handle me. That's what I keep on saying. Like I just say, I don't want someone who is as high as me, because I don't know if that would work. I don't know, but if I'm to choose that, I'd be like, hata asiwatch game. Acha tu atulie. I don't want him to.
Anaweza kuwa kuna hobby ingine different from football and the things you love.
Na watch golf, maybe anapenda kudrive, maybe anapenda kufanya. Wacha tu aende tu atafute mambo yake, mimi nitafute mambo yangu, because at the end of the day I believe you can be doing your own things, I'm doing my own things, but at the end of the day I know that my guy is okay. He's not doing whatever he is. And he needs to trust me enough to know that even if I'm in the club watching a match, I'm just watching a match. Na game ikiisha, probably nitaenda home like after 30 minutes. Na game uko na extension, uko na 30 more minutes, uko na penalties. Kuna kwa gana hizo.
Na kuna kwa gana ile after.
Na kuna kwa gana ile after. Sasa tunaanza kuanalyze, atumalizangi.
Which can take another 1 hour or 2.
You see such things. So you need a really mature person. As we said, also investments are, relationship are investments. You are getting into something that will be there for a lifetime. Si ati unaingia tu as a joke. So if you're getting into a relationship, you know that I am investing my time, my emotions, my money, and every other thing in this relationship. So you also need to be mature enough to know, by the way, if I'm getting into this relationship, if my guy does not like certain things, I need to be able to sacrifice that and tone it down a little bit. And also, as CJ says, you need to tell them. Just tell them, by the way, Ebu, just imagine, put yourself in this position. You need to talk to them, because in most relationships, people are afraid, like, I don't want to talk to him because what will be his reaction? Atasema nini? Atafanya nini? Why are you even in that relationship in the first place? Just ask them, like, muulize, uko unaogopa? I mean, you're dating this person, you're spending the rest of your life with them. Kwani unamuogopa? Una need kukua able kumwambia.
Kwani what's the worst that?
Kwani what's the worst that? Kuachwa tu. Utaachwa na maisha itaendelea.
Cute.
No, but as I keep saying, mtu wako ni wako. Nothing can take them away from you. Honestly, your person is your person, and they will love you. You'll be amazed. That's why sometimes you get into a relationship, and then when someone is being all good and all nice to you, you're like, kwani am I in the right place? You know, because umezoea tu vita, umezoea shida, huku umezoea tu kukeleleshwa all the time. So sometimes it's kind of surprised when you get into a relationship with someone and they actually understand you. They get you, wamefanya homework yao, and they're okay, and they'll be like, it's okay, babe, you go have fun with your people, and then nitakuwa tu home nimetulia, and you're like,
anaficha nini?
You really mean that? Like, uko tu sawa, na umeenda, na umerudi, na hana shida ako, okay? You see, that is maturity into relationships. So, as you said, we are not competing. We are not in this relationship to compete, because most of the time I see people competing in relationships. Just because you went out until 3 a.m., I'm also going to do the same. Let's see who can do this better. You see, so if you get to that level, then we are not in a relationship. We are just tuko hapo kupass time. You need to be able to understand your person. Elewa mtu wako venye yako. Usipopenda mtu wako venye yako, then unajua venye wanasemaga, love your person the way they are. Understand them. Try to put yourself also in their shoes and say, if I was Cutie or if I was him, nikimkazia kufanya ABCD, ntafilaje, na pia yakinikazia. So, mwache, kama any boy wakwenda kuwatch game, as long as ni game ana watch, imagine, just let him be. You'll actually find that you're in a good relationship. But for as long as it does not... For as long as it does not affect your relationship. That's why I'm saying, as long as wewe unajua, it's okay for him to go. Na matches hazikuangi daily. Safin, game hazikuangi kila siku. We all know that. Mostly zinakuanga weekends. Kuna zile, of course, ni za weekday here and there. But as long as this person is... Imagine he's happy. If he's going to watch the match and he's happy, akika kwa hauta atakubo.
But shida sasa ni, we want to be the ones to create that happiness. Not football.
No. Checky, you're creating like 50% of the happiness. That's why I said...
You want to be the entertainment.
You cannot create my happiness 100%. As I said, I came in as Cutie. Saizi simi ujibamba. Venye niko solo, simi ujibamba. Mwenda gym, nenda na watch game, nenda home, nafanya job. Niko tu sawa. Like, I am 100% okay. Umse akikam, anakam kuadin like the bonus part of it. So I cannot be 100% ati mi ndio joy umse. Tukoeni too serious for a minute. Like, I cannot be the joy of my husband 100% or my boyfriend. Kuna vitu huwa zinam nice na sio mimi 100. Na si ati anipendi. And you have to make peace with that. Anaenda maybe kwenda church na mbamba. Una get? Like yeye akikuwa tu pale kwa church, anaenda na worship, maybe that makes him happy or makes her happy. You need to let them be. Maybe akienda zile chamas. Sasa you can be part of chamas. Kama mama anaendaga chama na inambamba, let her be. Wacha aende hizi chama, vitu zenye wanaenda kufanya huko. Kama wamamas, wachana na yeye. Hiyo ndio kitu ina make you happy. So understand your person, let them be in their own world. Alafu akikam, inakuwa tu ni bonus. Like you're just adding on that happiness.
As we're about to wrap up, there is this one thing I want us to talk about. You know, how do you get to a space whereby you there was something you were saying about somebody. You feel like somebody is in a competition with you, but it's not a human being. It's if it is a human being, it's easier to confront because it's wrong, and you can actually say, I don't want you to have an affair. You can actually bring out all those text messages and call this person out. But it's a safe thing. You can actually see that this is... Ikitu is safe. How do I confront what I feel is safe? It could even be a job. Yes. This person is away from the family kwa sababu wako kazi. And you unajita mkutano, you tell yourself, actually, this is how do I even confront this? But deep inside, you're suffering. You feel like it's taking a toll on them. They come home tired. They don't even want to talk to you because of the fatigue that they bring when they come back from work. When they are on leave, they don't even want to involve na vitu za familia because they want to take a break from all that is happening. But you can't confront that because you feel it's actually for your own good. How do you navigate? CJ?
I'll go back to something that QT brought up. And she said, if we are doing 50-50 and you want me to stay at home, then make me the trophy wife. Now, sometimes that becomes the real reason why people don't have conversations, because you're feeling that this work has taken this person away, but then you don't have means. So they'll keep on using that. They'll be like, so should I stay home and then you pay the bills? So it becomes a very manipulative thing.
Discussion.
That the person does not see the impact of what they're doing because of the benefits that they bring. So when somebody is doing something that looks like it is beneficial, but it is hurtful on one side, generally most people would want to avoid it. Because somebody can say, yes, I watch football, I travel, I play golf, whatever, but I'm not cheating on you. Like there are a lot of people out there who are doing that. I'm not doing this. But that does not mean that they're not taking away time from you. Because what is the real reason why somebody would feel bad about somebody else being in their partner's life? They're taking their partner away from them. So this thing is having the same effect. It's just that it's not
like
a person.
It's like cheating. It's just that it's not a person.
It's not a person because it's taking away their emotions. So they're never emotionally present. Even when they are home, you can tell that they're not here. They're not present here. They'll be home, but they're on phone with their group talking about the next season. Oh, we are buying this player, we're doing this. I mean, the guy can't even pay his rent, but we are buying this player. We're doing this. So they're not even emotionally present. They never feel you. They'll not realize when you're not okay or something. It is just important. And could you say this? Why would you fear somebody that you're in a relationship with? You've got to understand your needs. There are people who don't mind having those kind of partners. They want their space. They want to be in a relationship, but have space. So if they find somebody who is detached, they feel good about it because they don't actually want to be too much into another person's business. They don't want that person to be too much in their business. But if you're the kind of person who loves attention and you want affection and you want affirmation and you want all of this, then these things matter to you. And you need to bring out that aspect of your needs. I feel that you don't have time for me. We don't have conversations. We don't spend any time together just by ourselves, apart from the kids and something. Yes, you're providing. And it's always good to, when you're raising issues, begin from the positive, going towards the things that affect you. That I appreciate you working so hard. I see the hours you put in. I appreciate the fact that you're paying the bills, you're paying the rent, and you're taking care of us. However, I also feel that this particular job is doing this and this to you and to us. And I'm hoping that we can find something else. So you begin from affirming what they do. Then you raise the issues that you have. Then you try to find alternatives. So you're not just leaving it at the place of criticizing it. You start with, you're doing a good job. You're doing a great job with this. We notice it, we see it. And then you get into the place of, however, there's this and this that needs to be done. I feel I'm not listened to. We don't have time together. I can't even remember when we last went out on a date or we went out for dinner. I can't remember when we spent a whole weekend together, all of these things. And so, yes, as much as you're taking care of all of these bills and the kids and that, I'm feeling neglected in the relationship. And so I'm hoping probably either you will make time for us, seek out some time on leave, or begin to look for another job. So you're not coming against his job. You're just thinking, can we find another job that will make you do the same things but afford you more time?
Yeah, true. What if you've had that conversation But this person, because of how they have vested in their hobby or their career or their work, and it's making so much sense to them, it's been part of them ever since they were young, and they are not ready to disconnect at all with whatever it is that they have going on. How do you navigate?
You'll need to seek help, because generally there are also people who are married to certain other things. They married those things before they married you.
Yeah.
So you as a human being came in as a second wife.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd rather lose you than lose the job, lose you than lose their hobby, lose you. When you know that, then you have to evaluate the situation and ask yourself, do you want to be the second? It could be you are the man, and this woman has placed her career or her hobbies or her friends above you. It could be either way. And so now you have to evaluate and ask yourself, is this what I'm going to sign up for? Do I want to be the second in the relationship? If it is not working, so you bring in somebody to try and sort out these issues, a third person to just give perspective. If they are insistent on having their way, then you have the leeway to make a decision over whether you want to be in the second seat or whether you will stay.
All right. And that's how we wrap it up. Thank you so much for creating time for us. QT, maneno ya mwisho?
Maneno ya mwisho, Kenye CJ amesema, try to support your partner. If it's their career that makes them, ebu try to support them and also try to understand them and see how that works. Isikwe tu kila time ni vita, kupigana. Just try to support your partner and understand them. I like what he said, like, just if you're good to be number 2, iko tu sawa. Si career inawasaidia pia kwa life yenu. So try to understand them, try to support them, and you'll see how things will work out.
Hobby yenye ileti chakula kwa meza. Hiyo ni ngumu kuunderstand. It shouldn't come between you and your partner. I mean, it's good to have something that makes you feel good and feel nice. It's good that once in a while you have your me time and disappear and you go do things that you love, which are legal and acceptable. But then again, when it starts, coming in between you and your relationship, taking up time that you should be spending doing very important things. You're supposed to go to your kids' school. You're supposed maybe to go to church as a family. Maybe you are supposed to sit down and just spend time as a family at home. But that hobby is always coming in between the two of you or the family. Then that is something that you need to think about and have a discussion with. Like they are saying, have that particular discussion concerning what is happening in your family. Thank you so much for watching this particular Tuesday. We really appreciate your time. Unfortunately, Roberta couldn't join us, but we hope that next week we will be here as a panel talking about interesting things that would make you become a better social being and a better person. My name is Safina Chengoma. Have a lovely day ahead.